Hello students, a very good morning. So students, as in last class we have established the wave optics that by the proof of reflection and refraction of light. So up to that topic it is I think completely clear, and also we have discussed some basic things about the interference of light, like what are the necessary condition, what is coherent light source and what are the incoherent light source. Now let's just move further in our revision way, that is for the interference of light. So here, as interference of light, in which the concept is when two or more waves that are going to superimpose over each other, then that time in medium at some points the intensity of light that gets increased, and at some point it start to reduce. Means the alternative variation in the increment and decrement of lights that we are seeing, means some kind of patches in the space we can see, like bright and dark patches. So that patches are known as fringes, and this whole phenomena is known as interference of light. So let's see how can we explain the interference of light, and for that one the first topic that we will again revise, that is the coherent and incoherent addition of light waves. So let's see, when the light waves are incoherent and they will superimpose over each other, then which kind of effect they will show, and if they are coherent, then if they will superimpose over each other, then what will be the different conditions through which the new phenomena, interference phenomena, we are getting. So first, for that one, let us consider here the oscillating electric field that produced at a point P by the two sources are given by here. Again, I must say why I am going to use to represent the light by electric field, because as in electromagnetic wave we have seen E by B, the amplitude of electric field to the magnetic field, that was equal to C. That is, the electric field's amplitude is much greater than that of B. That's why we can represent the light wave only in the terms of E also. So here I am going to take the representation for the displacement of light wave in the terms of electric field. Also the same method we are utilizing when we are discussing the polarization of light. So let's start now here. So in the first one, as the first wave we have supposed that is E1. E1 is equal to A1 cos of omega 1t plus phi 1. Means the first light wave that we have, these are the properties of that wave, that is amplitude of the wave is A1, angular frequency is omega 1, and the phase of the wave is phi 1. Now for the second wave, suppose the second wave that has displacement equation, this is A2 cos of omega 2t plus phi 2. Now these two waves are going to superimpose over each other, so their superposition, after that one we can find out the resultant by using superposition principle, and that is saying when two or more waves are getting superimposed over each other, then the resultant can be find out by the algebraic sum of individual displacements of the wave. So this as here we are considering the light nature as the wave, so we can apply all concepts of the wave here. So let's apply that one now. Before applying that one, let's convert this one in the forms of intensity. So as we know, in the case of the wave, intensity is related to amplitude, and here this amplitude, that is intensity, is directly proportional to amplitude square. So here if the intensity of first wave is I1, and this is now the directly proportional to E1 square, so we can write I1 is equal to something K times E1 square. Now if you will put the value of E1 here, you can find out now this will be equal to K A1 square cos square omega 1t plus phi 1 from here. Now similarly we can find out the intensity of the second one. So intensity of second one can be written as K E2 square, because the two waves are moving in the same direction, so that's why their propagation constant will be same here. This is now K times A2 square cos square omega 2t plus phi 2 from here. So these are now the intensities and the displacements of the two waves. Now next further let's find out the displacement of the or intensity of the final wave that is obtaining after the superposition of these waves now. So for this case we can find out it by moving in the same direction, then that's why their displacements can be written as E1 plus E2. And finally we can also write it A1 cos omega 1t plus phi 1 plus A2 cos omega 2t plus phi 2 from here. And in the terms of intensities, if we will write intensity of the final wave, that will be obviously I is equal to K E square, the same pattern that we are getting, because if the two waves are moving in the same direction, after superposition they will again move in the same direction. So that's why propagation constant will be again same. Here we can write this is K times E1 plus E2 whole square from here, or we can write this is K E1 square plus K E2 square plus 2 times K E1 E2 from here. So this is the final wave that we will get now. And now as this K E1 square is what? That is I1 plus K E2 square is I2. Now here from here if you will calculate the root K E1, that will be equal to root I1. Similarly root K E2 you will find that is root of I2. So you can see from here we can write this is 2 times root of I1 and root of I2 from here. Again we can also write it in the terms of the square form of roots here, that is root I1 plus I2 whole square. Now let's put the values of, or let's calculate the value of this term, and we can also write down this term in this term, or also sometime suppose I am giving it the name I12. This I12 is what? You can see according to our whole concept, according to simple wave concept, if two waves are getting superimposed over each other, then that time there should be conservation of energy. So for that one, or if first wave has intensity I1, second one has intensity I2, so final intensity should be equal to I1 plus I2. But here one additional term we are getting in which both waves properties are contained, E1, E2, both you are seeing. So that's why I12, this word I have given the name here, and this word is showing this is obtained due to the mixing of the two waves, due to the superposition of two waves. So let's see the values of this I12 here. So for this one here I am going to write this is I12. This I12 has value from here, this is 2 times K E1 E2. Now let's put the value of here E1 and E2. So we can write down this is 2K. E1 has value A1 cos of omega 1t plus phi 1 into A2 cos of omega 2t plus phi 2 from here. Now we can apply the formula of cos 2 times cos A cos B, that is cos A plus B plus cos A minus B. So let's use this metrical formula, and by using that one you can write this as K A1 A2, and in bracket we can write this as cos. First one here it was A plus B. So cos A plus B, when we will do this is A, this is B. So we can get now omega 1 plus omega 2t plus phi 1 plus phi 2 into plus here this is, let me write it, plus cos of now A minus B, that is omega 1 minus of omega 2t plus phi 1 minus phi 2. So this is what we have got after the solution of this I12 from here. So let's move further. For this one, what it, this term is just referring to us, what it just want to show to us. So for that case here, you can see now this averaging 2K E1 E2, this term over a full cycle, we find the first term, that is containing the sum of the two frequencies, that is omega 1 plus omega 2, and becomes 0. So means whenever you will take over the average cycle, then that will become 0, and if omega 1 is not equal to omega 2, then the average of the second term is also 0. So that means here if the frequencies are same, or the average of 2K E1 E2, that is that time is given by only K times over the complete cycle, that is it is known that over a full cycle, that is from 0 to 2 pi, the average value of cos x is 0 and average value of cos square x is 1 by 2. So we can apply this formula here also. So in that case, obviously here we can just take the average value. So this factor only, this will not become 0, only all these factors will be 0 there. So in that case, only cos phi 1 minus phi 2, this value we will get from this place. Now this value k a1 a2, that obviously 2 times should be here. No, it is this. So this is now we can write it 2 times root of I1 I2 into cos of phi 1 minus phi 2. So this thing is, I think, very clear to you all. How can we find out this term? I think this will be also be not tricky. So finally, students, what we are seeing from this expression of I12, what it is want to show us. In that whole expression, it is showing whenever there will be the phase difference between the two waves, that is, whenever we will have the value of this phi 1 minus phi 2, something we will have, then that time it means the two waves have different phases, and that time the value of this cos phi that you can see, if this will suppose they are out of phase, they are in the phase, or this all case means if this cos phi 1 minus phi 2, this becomes 0. Suppose, for example, this can have obviously a lot of values, but suppose we are taking the concept when this interfering term that or this I12 term, this becomes 0. So this term will be 0. Only two situations are possible, whether I12 can be 0 or I12 is not equal to 0. So if it is equal to 0, it is implying that this cos of phi 1 minus phi 2, this will be 0 from here, and it means now it is showing that the cos this phi 1 and phi 2, that is the two waves that are interfering here, they are out of phase, means obviously they will be their phase will be equal to pi by 2. So in that case, obviously there after superposition of the two waves, we can get the final intensity only equal to I1 plus I2, because this I12 term will become 0 in that case, and this is now the condition for incoherent waves. So whenever these incoherent waves are getting superimposed over each other, then this time I12 becomes 0. Now this I12 will not 0 if suppose we are getting some values of this term. So this term is now representing now the intensity, that is I1 plus I2 plus 1 I12, that will have different values if the phase difference between the waves will change, that is this phi 1 minus phi 2 will start to change. So it means this I12 factor is depending completely on this cos phi 1 minus phi 2 factor, because all other factors are constant from here. Now if we will see this cos phi 1 minus phi 2 can have different values for different phase differences, and for example let us suppose the maximum and minimum displacements, means here when the cos phi 1 minus phi 2, that has minimum value, that is 0. So in that case we can obviously write this phi 1 minus phi 2, that will be equal to here 2n plus 1 k by 2, or in general values you can find out the value of phi 1 minus phi 2, and then you can find out at for which phase differences here we can get the value of cos phi 1 minus phi 2 0, means after superposition this term will be 0, or exactly here this is not the minimum value of cos, as I must tell you, here the minimum value of cos is minus 1. So the maximum value of cos phi 1 minus phi 2 is plus 1, minimum value of cos phi 1 minus phi 2 is minus 1. Always your mind is going for the case when the cos will become 0, that is the minimum value. No, that is not the minimum value. because if you will see this is the minimum value of the cos -1. Now for cos phi1 minus phi2, and from here you can write down the general value, you can find out easily for which values of the difference of phases we can get minimum intensity. Now if we will put the value of I12 in the term here final intensity, so let me just write it here. Now we had I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 times root of I1 I2 cos of phi1 minus phi2 from here. After whole of the solution we are getting this factor. Now in this factor, as we are discussing that when this cos phi1 minus phi2 this term will change, then because of the change in that term the whole value of intensity after superposition will start to change. Means in a space when the phase will start to change, then in a space at different points we will get different intensities of light also. So from here if cos of phi1 minus first condition you can write from here phi1 minus phi2, this factor will become for its minimum value, that is -1. This is now the minimum value of cos. Then that time this I will be I1 plus I2 minus of now 2 times I1 root I2, and that can be written as root of I1 minus root of I2 whole square from here. So this is the minimum value of intensity of the wave. Similarly we can also find out in terms of here its amplitude, so in that term also you can write this one. Next one here from here, for the second case, if this cos, that is phi1 plus phi1 minus of phi2 is equal to +1, that is the maximum possible values here. For this maximum possible value I will have value root I1 plus root of I2 whole square. So here what we can see in this space whenever the phase difference maintained in the wave that is continuously changing. So due to the change in the phase continuous, at some point if we are getting minimum intensity, then at other point we will get maximum intensity. So a very different pattern we will start to see if only we have the value of this interfering term. That is why I am calling it interfering term, because it is obtained after the superposition mixing of the two waves, and this condition we can achieve only when our light sources are coherent. Means here such kind of light sources we have for which continuously this phase difference is maintained or this phase difference is 0. Only for that one means in that case only we can obtain this kind of relationship or the interfering term, otherwise we cannot get for any other cases this one. So normal, generally normal lights that you are seeing, like the white light, this is all that is moving in all possible direction. All the rays here, all the waves here that are not in the same phase, or their phase difference is not constant or 0 within the space or with time. So that's why they are incoherent in nature. For that one I12 is 0. So whenever the two incoherent light waves that will superimpose over each other, they will mix over each other, then that time their final intensity that will be only the simply sum of the intensities of individual wave, that is I is equal to I1 plus I2. But whenever the sources are incoherent, waves are sources are coherent, waves are coherent, then that time if they will superimpose, then that time in space this kind of situation, extraordinary situations we will get for that one. At some point intensity will become greater, at some point it will be starts to be smaller. That is the topic of the Young's double slit experiment. So what is now the Young's double slit experiment? To understand this one, because to understand the concept of interference, First, the scientist Young, he has taken the concept of Huygens to understand interference, to prove that wave theory can explain the interference phenomena easily. Means the at some point it can give maximum intensity, at some point it can give minimum intensity. So let's see the experiment of the wave. Also we can understand it by making by ourselves also. So for that one, what you have to do, first let's take a source here. This is our primary source through which light is incident. Now what we will do, we can use the concept of the division of wavefronts here to make the two light sources as coherent here. So I have told you already how to make the light sources coherent by using single source, and that is the method is called as division of amplitude method. So these are now the two sources that we have made from here. This is S1, suppose this is now S2. Then again, as Huygens concept is that these two sources will behave like the secondary sources, and means just like the fresh sources, they will again send disturbances in forward direction in all possible directions. So it means here, as it is sending the disturbances in forward direction, then obviously in wave form it will send the disturbance. And you know that according to the concept of Huygens, he has taken light as the mechanical wave, just like the sound wave he has taken, and the nature of the wave he has taken, that was exactly here longitudinal nature. But later, when Maxwell has proved that light has transverse nature, then as you know, in the case of transverse nature, transverse wave is moving in the terms of crust and throws. So it means here also we can make crust and throws, because here the two sources are sending light as the wave in forward direction. So that in that wave, obviously the light wave has transverse nature, so that will have a crust and throws in the space also. So for the crust, let us suppose I am taking this, I am representing it by the solid line, and for throws let's show it by dotted lines. So here the first one, suppose that is now the crust. So for this one crust we have made, for this one also we have made. Now this is our throws. Now the second we can also make throws from here. Now the third we will again it will have the crust. The third one is again crust here. The fourth one is again throws from here, and also throws from here. Now in the same manner you can draw number of here diagrams, number of lines here, and that will help you to just to find out whether there is interference in the space or not. So this kind of lines made by yourself denote the crust by the solid lines and throws by the dotted lines. Now what you have to do, here suppose here we have placed a screen to see whether the light intensity is increasing or decreasing or not. So the points that you can see where solid and solids have meted, at this point you can see, so where dotted and dotted lines are meted, solid lines are meted. So exactly you know, according to wave concept, when two throws are in the or two crusts are in the same direction in the superposition, suppose there are two waves, here this is the first wave and now this is the second wave. So at the same time you can see the two, this is the crust of these two, this is the throw of these two, so their resultant amplitude starts to increase. So it means that these are the points for which the resultant amplitude will be increasing, or we can say now this resultant here, I think that is not showing, I can show you this diagram here. Let's see that. Now it means that here these are the points where the final amplitude will start to increase. So these are the points of increased intensity. So we are suppose saying it bright light, because the intensity of light gets increased. Suppose in the same way the lines where solid and dotted are meeting. So here in the same way, suppose this is our first wave, and now here the second ray is going in this way. So that time intensity starts to decrease or amplitude starts to decrease. So in the same manner, these are the collection of the points where the intensity of light starts yourself, you will get continually bright dark pattern on the screen. This is now called the interference pattern, and easily we can understand it by the light wave concept. So students, I think up to this topic today, whatever we have discussed is completely clear. So let's end our topic here and class here. So thank you students.